so we can keep going. All right. So we've been talking a lot about, what our goals and our desires is for 2024. Listen, it gets very redundant. It gets to the point, it's the same conversation. My question to you is, did you have the paradigm necessary for it to manifest? So I was doing some thinking, right? And in doing the thinking, I'll give you an example. Today, I was talking with someone, and someone's name came up, but this was someone that I always admired. And when their name came up, I was speaking about them or talking about them in a casual way because I built a relationship with the person. And I stopped in the middle of the conversation and I said, wow, like, when you're intentional about something, you have these group of mentors or these people that you look up to, okay? You respect them, you honor them, whatever. In time, they become your friends. One of the most dangerous things to do is when you partner with people and when you have these relationships with people that you stop learning from them. You gotta pick up their ways. The reason you have to pick up their ways is because you start to behave like they do. Now, this would mean that you actually want what it is that they have. So my number one question for you today is, who is your ideal mentor? Who is the person? And listen, don't just put anything, okay? Don't answer to make someone feel good, okay? When you give someone the permission to be your mentor, you are giving them permission to lead you, okay? You are giving that person permission to lead you, okay? Now, I want to know in the message, who is your mentor? Who is your go-to, who is the go-to person that you go to? And I'm reading these comments, okay? Who is your mentor? All right, I want you guys to answer me, okay? I want you guys to answer me. Who is your mentor? Go ahead and put it, okay, in the messenger, okay? In the messenger, okay? And so when you see these names come up, I want to tell you, two things that I truly do believe will allow you to get what the mentor has. I believe that one of the most frustrating things, I use this story all the time, one of the most frustrating things that you can do is get coached for a long time by a group of people or a person and not see different results. That's annoying, right? Because there's two problems. Either that person has not created a career for themselves where they have a system for you to mimic. Okay, success is all about mimicking. Okay, success is all about mimicking. Write it down. Mentorship is about mimicking. The reason that the disciples wrote most of the Old Testament, well, Paul wrote most of the New Testament, is because they mimicked their mentor. Okay, they mimic their mentor. The only way that you'll get to the point where you can mimic is to watch. Okay. The only way to get to the point where you can mimic is to watch. Okay. Now, when someone is your mentor, right? When someone is your mentor, you have direct conversation with them. So you're not, if the only time, let me explain to you something. If you only hear from me, right, for the most part on the training, and me and you don't have a conversation, I would be coaching you. Okay, that's coaching. Mentorship means that someone has a relationship with this person where you could text them, you can call them, they respond to you, you have conversation with them. So one of the number one errors, and let me explain something to you guys, just because you're in network marketing does not mean that the person that signed you up in the business is your mentor. Okay, this is a dangerous thing to do because it's network marketing. Anyone can get a link. Okay, and a lot of people are playing on the ability for them to become more powerful because you're not tapping into the professionalism or the seriousness of a mentor. Okay, of a mentor. So now the only way to get what the mentor has is to mimic. Okay. The only way to mimic is to watch. Okay. And the only way you'll watch is through respect. And for all the people who have mentees, or you're trying to get to the point to be the mentor, the way you get respect is to do. Okay. So doing what? Do the hard stuff. Do the hard stuff. What is the hard stuff? The hard stuff is what everyone else will not do. That's how you get respect. And once you do and you get respect, people watch you. After people watch you, if they decide that you obviously they're watching you because you're interesting, they'll start to mimic you. After the mimicking, to make this even a tighter conversation, okay? Who'd you mimic today? How do you know that you did an activity that is identical to your mentor? Okay. This isn't a guessing game. Okay. This is really, this is like something serious that you should be able to scale. Okay. You should be able to scale this. So for instance, if Michael Jordan is someone's mentor, okay, when they say, if they were to ask a basketball player, well, what did you do today that makes you mimic? Like, how is he your mentor? Like, how are you mimicking him? What traits do you have of Michael Jordan? Okay. And if you don't know the traits that you have, you're not watching enough. Okay. And when you're not watching enough, it means you don't respect enough. Okay. And if you don't respect, okay, there's two things that can happen. Now, this is where leadership accountability comes in. Are you doing, leader? Okay. Are you doing for them to respect you? All right. Or you could be doing and they just have lack of respect. Every leader knows if they're giving it the best that they have. Every leader knows. Okay. Great. My computer is on. I literally, this phone is driving me insane. Every leader knows if they're giving it the best that they have. So let's go up the ladder of success in your career. You know, I'm often asking myself, I don't know. Let me ask the people that are on here tonight. Are you serious about becoming successful in network marketing? Shake your head. Or is it a pastime? And I want you to answer me honestly. Is it a pastime? Is it something that you've picked up and it's interesting, but it's not your thing? There's no right or wrong answer, but I am interested to know, are you serious or not? Okay. Now, if you are serious, then the one thing that I would ask you is, who respects you with what it is that you're doing? Who respects you? Okay. For the people on here that feel that you work very hard, but you're not clear who respects you, watch this. And you're not clear on who respects you, it's because right now you're doing is selfish. So you're not serving enough to notice who respects you or needs you. Now, being selfish does not always have to have a negative connotation to it. So what I mean by that, you can be unconsciously not aware that you're serving selfishly. Okay. And this happens normally, like if you're just focused on making $100 a day for yourself. Okay. So when you're focused on making $100 for yourself, okay, then that means, and now I'm here. Let me turn this off. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to open this up. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see. I think I can Let me reclaim host here. All right. And then, okay, I'm leaving. Okay, let's see where I'm at. Here I am. Is that better? I'm about to clean my screen off also. I did not like being um, on a thing. So you can be serving selfishly. And in serving selfishly, that means you're worried about what's in this for you. Okay. Here's the problem with that. And there's a proper way to do it. But when you're really concerned about what's in it for you, the problem is you're not paying attention to them. And when you're not paying attention to them, you won't get the respect that you're looking for because you're not trying to be seen for them. You're trying to survive, you're trying to make it for yourself. You're trying to do something for yourself. But you can't grow in leadership until you think about them. Is everyone following me? Okay. I don't want you to take the classes and not really know how to apply what's being trained. I want you to take these classes and I want you to be successful in network marketing. I really, really do. I think that it's one of the best decisions or the greatest experiences you'll ever have, making money in the abundance and making tons of money, but you've got to grow a following. You've got to grow a list of people who respect you. And the only way to do that, right, is by doing. And from doing, your doing has legs. Okay. Has anyone noticed that whenever I put something together, I always try to call everything a system? Okay. And the reason why I do that is because I want to be able to track if you can do it or not. Because if I don't serve you and I don't give you a formula to serve you, we're not going anywhere. I'm just doing things for me. And leadership does not allow you to just do things for you. You have to do things for other people. So, your network marketing career, just want to ask, who respects you? Who respects you? Can you get a list of 2 people who respect you right now in the network marketing industry? If you're on here and you don't know 2 people that respect you, I would ask you to pay attention to your doing. Okay. I would ask you to pay attention to your doing. As a leader, it's your responsibility when you're doing, okay, which makes them respect you, to be wise enough that when they watch, they feel inspired to do, because then they start to mimic. Then they start to mimic. Okay. So, why did Jesus speak in parables? The reason Jesus spoke in parables because he could have been very he could have used a choice of words and language that would have left the entire world confused about what he was talking about. He could have had a grandness about himself to make his doing so grand that even if you respected him, see, here's the power. Here's the problem. When you do and get respect and people don't start to mimic, it's because you don't have a system for them to follow. So then people start to idolize. When you become a leader and your doing is not simple enough for someone else to do, they know they can't do it, so they idolize. They idolize you and they respect you and they want you, but to make a lot of money, they have to mimic you. So you have to be able to dummy yourself down enough, not, choke your gift up, but you've got to be able, as I've been studying the leadership of Jesus, I'm like, what was this man doing? Trust me, Jesus has several languages he could speak in. He spoke in parables to them. His doing calls respect, obviously. They watched him, but he simplified his doing for them to mimic. What happens when you simplify your doing low enough, what happens when people mimic you is that while you're doing what your mentor does, you get your own revelation. Okay. This is why there's different denominations. Okay, there's different denominations because if I study the principle of you, I will become a branch of you, but I probably won't be exactly like you. That was never the goal or the plan. Okay. So when you're mimicking your mentor or you're mimicking your coach or whoever, do you see your people and your organization? Do you see them getting their own revelation? So I just pointed out 5 different levels. If you got to the point where you could get one person to get their own revelation from your doing, you would make $100,000 a year in network marketing. 1,000%. If this revelation part of the people that are mimicking you is too far above your head right now, more than likely you're doing, okay, you're mimicking. I mean, you can go down the ladder. You're mimicking is not intense enough. You're not mimicking well enough. Peter got out the boat and walked on water. And then you get your own revelation. Then you get your own type of faith. But you have to be well at mimicking. If you're not, so if I ask you, does anybody on here know who they mimic today? Oh my God. Can I tell you, I'm 37, but I can tell you that all of this is just spiritual, guys. You're eating up too much of the technical stuff. You cannot activate the techniques or the technical stuff until it's first in your spirit. It's going to exude from who you are in your heart. Okay. When it's not clicking and it's not working, I know if I go in my back office right now and I see 500 volume points and you're trying to get me to manifest 50,000, the anxiety from 500 to 50,000 alone is enough for you to lose faith. I know. You don't think I have numbers I want to go to too? I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, when you do the numbers, this seems so far away from me. But can I tell you, in my entire career, whenever I've had an explosion, I went back to the drawing board of the spiritual side of things. And the number one enemy to people prospering or people being in the abundance, 2 things. Number one, you're too busy to do the important stuff. Okay. Do you know that being too busy to do the important stuff has a sense of, let me just say it like this. I had to get this for myself to be who I am today. Doing what you can do more than what the Spirit can do for you has a little bit of believing that you can get the results quicker for yourself than God can. Being able to do technical things longer and to focus on techniques and strategies and skills and systems more than you focus on the spiritual side of things. What you're saying from your subconscious is, I truly still do believe I can deliver this to me faster or quicker than the principles can. Now, listen, you don't have to be a Christian to believe this. That is all Bob Proctor was trying to teach people. He was trying to teach them that there's a frequency that you play on, and when you play on this frequency, you get the results. It's from scripture. That's all Napoleon Hill was talking about. That's all Earl Nightingale was talking about, okay? That's all Pastor Ike was talking about. They were trying to tell you that if you get this part, can I tell you something? Do you know, and I know people like when I train, but just hear what I'm saying. Do you know that the devil's number one goal is to paralyze you to activate this? That's his only goal. His goal is to get you to be disconnected from the teaching. When you're disconnected from the teaching, you're interested in it, but you're still paralyzed to apply it. Now, watch this. I trained on this the other week. Do you know why he keeps you interested in it? He keeps you interested in it to terrorize you. Let me explain to you what I mean. When I tell you that you can think and grow rich, and it sounds interesting, but you can't connect to it, meaning I'm interested, but something is off. It's not clicking in my brain what you're talking about. It terrorizes you because 5 or 10 years go by and there's this promise and this principle that everyone's talking about, but I'm not reaping the harvest of it at all. Why is it a block for me to do it? It's to terrorize you. Come on. You don't think making $10,000 a month in network marketing or $50,000 a month or $200,000 a month, you're not understanding. You think that that's the end. That's the seed. Let me help you. When I had this, I've coached a lot of people, and I know one of the biggest things people battle with is the sincerity of prayer for a big amount of money, because they're not money hungry and they're not greedy, and they battle with the sincerity of saying they want a lot of money. That is because there's two worlds we're playing on, guys. There's two worlds we're playing on. I wish I had a whiteboard. There's two worlds that we are playing on. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay. Pink. Why do I have the color pink on my marker? Okay. Nina, you must have been on here first. Okay. So there are two worlds that we're playing in. Okay. The spiritual side. Okay. And then you have the world. Okay. Here's where, here is where I believe people get it confused. If I tell you to say that you want to make $50,000 a month in network marketing, there's two types of people. I should have wrote this backwards. Okay. There are people who believe that this is an end. That's the end. I'm going to show you. I'm going to connect this. You believe that when you join in network marketing and we tell you to say that you want to make $50,000 a month, you believe that that's the end. I'm going to get to $50,000 a month. Okay. To activate the spiritual side of it, the 50K a month, you must know, is a seed. It's the beginning of something. The money is the beginning of something. Once you get the revelation that the money is the beginning of something, then you understand how to pray for it now. If you're praying for an end result, everything that God desires for you multiplies. But if you've put in your mind that the $50,000 a month is the end of something, then you're battling to pray for it, because you are correct. You do not need $50,000 a month. You are correct. You don't. So because you're still tapping into how the desires from a worldly perspective, $50,000 is not. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Okay, listen to me. Okay, it's very, you have to watch how the devil works. Okay. Being humble or not greedy or not aggressive, not intense. These people have very pleasant personalities. They're very pleasant. Some of the best people that I've met in network marketing are not the top earners. If I was having a dinner or a birthday party, I like some of the people who've never made $500 in a month to sit with me. They have very pleasant personalities. people like me or Nina or Twyla or whoever, we can give off a lot of intensity. The reason I like to be around calmer people a lot of the times is because they're pleasant. But watch this. The devil, I don't want to say the devil, but you gotta lay off the humbleness on the word. Okay. You have to rise up a little bit and intensify being aggressive on the word and the promises. Because your responsibility was to not be comfortable while we were here. It was to represent the word. You cannot represent the word when you're casual because you're not ready for war. And the pleasant personalities, they don't get out the boat and walk on water. It's the troublemakers. Peter walked on water and then he still lied 3 times. The people with the intense personalities, the reason why they're also the people don't like and the most jacked up is because they're at war. They're at war between respecting the spiritual side of things and still battling with either I go all in on the spiritual side of things or I could be myself. If you notice, the people who know how to activate the spiritual side of things, they have very intense personalities because we were never supposed to be humble on the word. Is anybody following me? Because how could, and I'm going to get to my point, but just hear me. If God needed to pick 7 of us to go to war for him, would he pick you? If God wanted to start a kingdom on earth, would he pick you? Or are you casual on the word? Don't confuse your regular life for your spiritual life. That's the problem, okay? When you confuse your regular life for your spiritual life, the problem is now you don't activate power. So when I've coached people before, and I know that they struggle to ask, they don't care about, most people here on the call, you don't care about money that much. It's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is because you are thinking about once you get to the money, that's the end. But how I think about money is the seed. So my clarity on what will produce from $50,000 a month. The other day I was praying, and when I was praying, I told God, I said, I want to make so much money. I want to have like these I Choose to Live centers. Like my goal is to have it in 52 states. And people can go and there's going to be tons of books. It's going to be like a library. And you can go there, you can pray, you can, go in these desks and just study and just elevate yourself. So when I'm asking for things like $1 million a month, you got to understand where most people are struggling to explode to that level is because you think that the $50,000 a month is the end. It's the beginning. Your $10,000 or $20,000 a month is the beginning of something, not the end. So your income goal is the beginning of what? Changing when the Bible says that it's God that gives us the power to get wealth, okay? Knowing and praying changes when your money is a seed versus the end. Because now I got to pray different. My ask of $1 million a month in income comes because of what I'm expecting to harvest afterwards. But we have gotten so into ourselves that you're struggling to knock that wall down because you're into what it's going to do for you. I was just sitting with Twyla and we were going through all the people that we've helped when we were at the pinnacle of the type of money we were making. And when we were talking, I said, I mean, I'm talking about a lot of money. You know, there was a time that I would give $10,000 to people because it felt like $1,000. I would just give it to them. Okay. And I said to her, I said, I wouldn't take one bit of it back. Not one bit. The people I'm still cool with, the people that I'm not, I am a giver. I am someone who knows that I'm a seed for other people. My I mean, I don't want to tell my business, but I'll tell you, I gave a first fruit seed of $17,500. The following week, I gave a $10,000 seed. The following week. The following week after that, I gave another $10,000 seed. I'm talking about seeds because my responsibility for my existence here is deeper than me hitting a rank or saying I make $1 million a month. That's not my responsibility here. So you can see in the clarity of my purpose, people who are clear on their purpose are more intensified in their prayer is more intense because they know what they're asking for is the beginning of something. You've got to change your prayer for what the money that you want to make. And when you ask God to bless your business, you got to let him know the reason I need you to bless in this. I encourage you, don't forget the people you helped while you were up. Don't forget all the seeds that you've sown. It's not in vain. Don't forget all the people who have benefited from your success. Don't forget. Don't forget all the times that you sent money to your mom and you sent money to your kids and you cooked this person dinner and you did this for somebody. Don't forget how much you served. Because the only reason why you were able to do all of those things are that you were at the beginning of another phase. You were the giver at the time. The person who's the giver gets to ask for more because we don't normally get stuff from people. We get ours directly from God. Ain't nobody never sent me no $10,000 wire. That's okay. Because the person that I get my stuff, they own the guy that I get my money from, he owns the bank. He created the currency. I'm good. So the prayer intensifies by having clarity on the purpose. I can't pray or ask for $50,000 a month or $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month unless I know where I'm going with it next. So my prayer would be very shallow and short if I say, well, God, I'm just so grateful to you for $10,000 a month. Thank you, God, for getting me to 10,000. Where are we going? Where are we going with that? So in leadership, you get to take your prayer up a level. The way you take your prayer up a level, you're going to see the 10,000 or the 20,000 or the 30,000 or whatever it is. You're going to see that. But your prayer is about what happens afterwards. And so now you don't feel guilty about praying for a dollar amount. You're praying for the harvest of what was promised. But God will use you as the seed for the harvest. I don't know. Maybe you want to put your babies in private school. Maybe you want to retire your spouse. Maybe you want to donate thousands of dollars to the camp. I don't know what you want to do. This is what I do know. This is what I do know. I do know until you know what you want to do, your money will stop and you will not understand why it won't come. You'll work hard. I don't judge people in their seasons ever. There's not one person on this training where I'm impressed by how much money they're making. There's no person on this training that I'm judging how much money they make because I know it's all spiritual. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Is anybody following me? The prayer intensifies because of the prayer on what will produce from the income. So if I was to ask you right now, what's producing after the income? When I was praying to God about my business and what it is I'm trying to do, he stopped me because I should know better. And he stopped me and said, now, wait a minute. This is getting really unnecessary, actually. You have no plan. You haven't wrote the vision and made it plain. $1 million a month for what, Stanisha? What do you plan on doing with it? So then my motivation shifted and I started to document what I plan on doing with it. Once he knows I need it, he'll give it to me. Needing the money isn't saying, well, I need to get my savings built up because, I'll be 65 soon and I want a lot of money in the savings account. That's not why he wants you to make a lot of money. If you give, it'll be given back to you. Don't you worry about them, he'll worry about you. That's been my motto my entire network marketing career. I'll worry about them and he'll worry about me. I'll serve them to the best that I can and he'll serve me. That's it. Now, some people are at a season in their life where it's like, I hear you, but I'm not really at a state or a mental state in my life where these conversations about how I'm going to serve other people make any sense to me. Because I'm trying to serve myself right now. I understand. But let me tell you, and that is where the leadership starts. I can pull any leader on this training right now and say, give me the stories that they don't know. The same people who are edifying you, saying you made $1 million and you hit this ring, ask us how dark it's gotten. But ask us that we put on a poker face for whoever we were called to serve. Because if we worry about them, he'll worry about us. There's been plenty of poker faces in leadership. Why do you think pastors commit suicide? Don't think because the leader is speaking that they're not struggling. But our responsibility as leaders is if you worry about them, he'll worry about you. And so a lot of people have put a cap on the possibilities of a following or the possibilities of an organization because you're suffocating yourself. And the reason you're suffocating yourself is the focus is so much on you, you have not thought about them. You don't even know who them are. As a matter of fact, you feel so unworthy to train people or to coach people. You don't even think you have it in you to have a following. You don't think anyone's worried about you or thinking about you. You cannot even fathom in your mind right now to have an organization of 1,000 people because you feel so lost and depleted at the moment that you have lost you haven't been paying attention to who's watching you because you've been watching you, and your eyes have been on you when it should be on them. And if you worry about them, he'll worry about you. That's all leadership is. Jesus spoke with so much confidence those 3 years as he warned the disciples that he was going to get crucified. He never let a tear fall down his eye. He never let them know that he was worried a little bit about what was about to happen to him. It wasn't until he was in the garden that he wept. Leaders put on poker faces all the time. Those tears didn't just come out of anywhere. That means for the last 3 years, he had to be worried about something that was happening to him. But if you worry about them, he'll worry about you. That's the only time you saw the weakness. That's the only time you saw Jesus's leadership. You saw the reality of how he felt at the moment. But before that, what did you catch Jesus doing? He was doing to keep the respect. You cannot explode in your career You cannot be a leader. You cannot be a coach if you serve based on how you feel. You cannot be a coach. You cannot be a leader. Is if you're having a bad day, you don't show up. We don't get that right. Don't confuse the leadership that we don't have poker faces sometime. You don't know what leaders go through. As a matter of fact, they go through more than the average person goes through because we have a bigger responsibility. What people don't know about network marketing is when your coach or your upline decides to leave an opportunity and go somewhere else, the coach who this is not their past project, this is their full-time career. You don't know how much money they left on the table because it's their responsibility to show up motivated and to show up positive and to put on a poker face for you. And so when we go through these 5 layers of doing, respect, watching, mimicking, and then you get your own revelation, what you've seen through the people who you've given the honor to mentor or to coach you, you see them do. You see them do, but I could take this down another level and say, but you have not calculated all that they've done. Leadership and coaching is a responsibility that you take on, that God can trust you, that you'll show up no matter how you feel for the people. And you tattoo it on your heart and you tattoo it on your mind that if you show up for them, if you get off of this training, and when we do the content training, and when we do the calendar trainings, and you listen to what they're saying, you do the content. You make the calendar. If you show up for them, he'll show up for you. If you want to be a leader, because again, many are called, but only a few get chosen. If you want your business to explode, one thing to pay attention to is that the way that you begin to acquire respect from people is by your doing. A lot of you, your doing takes too many pauses and breaks. You don't let people see you consistently enough and long enough to respect you. You only show up when the sun is out. That's not what leadership is. That's not leadership at all. You know what type of leadership that is? That's self-reliant leadership. The rest of your career, it's not it's I nothing. I can't. He can. I can't. He can. Okay. And when your show up is inconsistent, your respect is inconsistent. When your respect is inconsistent, they watch you inconsistently. They watch you sometimes, and sometimes they don't watch you. And you rarely get to the point of mimicking. No, people don't mimic you. They don't mimic you because you don't do enough. So now in network marketing, it's all about how many people you've helped. And now, because you don't do enough, you don't got the respect, so your people barely watch you, they don't mimic you at all. If they don't mimic you, they'll never get new revelation to produce another denomination under your leadership, okay? Because you are still in phase 1. Be honest, what level are you at? Are you in the doing? You got some respect, you got some watching, some mimicking, or have you produced someone from under you that has revelation? Revelation means they don't do it quite like you do, but they would tell everybody that they got it from you. Leaders, let me tell you something. The most dangerous thing you can do is be in the doing and allow someone to sit on phase 2 of your table, which is respect. If they don't give you the respect, you have to leave them, because what happens is they become a bad representation of you. And now people are questioning your doing or your capacity or your leadership, because if they're hanging with you and you're the one coaching them and you're the one training them, then why have you not birthed out another you? But what a lot of leaders with big hearts do is you let people skip past the stages and you keep people around you because you like them. Purpose has nothing to do with who likes you. A lot of times, I've seen it several times in network marketing. Because your friend signed up in the business, there is someone in your organization that's proven they're consistent. They've proven that they'll do whatever it takes. They make the orders in the back office. They do the trainings. But because they're not your friend, you don't give them the same attention that you give someone you like. This is a gap in leadership. This is a gap in your growth. And this is a gap in leadership. When you sign someone up in this opportunity, the number one thing is required. Number one, accountability of doing. And if you can, honest to God, say with your hand that you know for a fact that you are doing the best that you can, that you're doing the best that you can. If you can say that for a fact, then green light there. You're successful on level 1. I bet you where most people are stuck is level 2. Let me explain. Okay. I was reading in the scriptures today, and I was reading one part of the scripture where Jesus was saying Satan was amongst them. He was talking about Judas. But then I was reading another part of the scripture where he called Judas his friend when the soldiers came and Judas kissed him. So he was calling Judas his friend, and he was calling him Satan in the same experience. He's Satan and he's his friend. And it was interesting to me. But what I know is Judas must have positioned himself in a respectful way to be able to stay. So sometimes people aren't your friend. And sometimes you may like someone else more than you like this person. But when you form a leadership team, it's not about who you like. You do not allow your purpose or your destiny to be based on who you like. Who respects you? I bet you if you go through your organization right now, there's people you don't pay any attention to because they're not your favorite. There's people you don't pay any attention to because they're not your friend, they're not your girlfriend, they're not your homie. Like you're not friends with them, so you don't give them the proper time of day. And one of the dangerous things that leaders do is they have favorites. I don't have any favorites. My table is set by people who respect me. I know that you respect me by how you follow what it is that we're doing. What I want you to do, you have to understand, and I'm about to wrap this up. I got 10 minutes. Okay, so let me get this straight for you. Number one, you have to remember that this is not about you. If you think it's about you, you're not going to be able to perform. It's not about you. And the other thing you have to remember is even when we do trainings like this, I understand these type of trainings are kind of heavy because some people are not in a position right now to take on a leadership conversation. It's more so unnecessary information, and not in a disrespectful way, but you don't feel empowered yourself at the moment. And so since you don't feel empowered yourself at the moment, from a spiritual standpoint, it's like, what do you want me to do with this information? Because I'm so heavy myself right now, I don't even know how to start in order to serve properly. Okay. I want you to trust me on something. I want you to trust me on something. Okay. The same way that I use Jesus as an example, he didn't cry until he got to the garden. He did not cry until he got to the garden. So the other 3 years while he was doing, he showed up. He showed up. If you knew in 3 years they were about to crucify you, how much anxiety and depression do you think you would have? Like, what in the world? You're telling me when I'm gonna die. I can imagine how heavy that was. You may feel like that about life right now. You may have a great life right now, but you want your career to take off in network marketing or whatever. You can feel heaviness. Okay. You may feel like it in your family. I don't know, but I'm explaining something to you. The way heaviness gets removed, okay, the way heaviness gets removed is by doing. You'll always feel better, even on a bad day, to just go help somebody else. If you want to know when you're going to get your kick and your mojo back, it's when you put intensity on helping someone else. Now, we're not a non-for-profit. Jesus wasn't a non-for-profit either. What I mean by that is every day you want to get up and see how you can help someone else. And when you feel heavy and it's a lot on you, then give some of it away. It's just energy. When you feel depressed or you feel anxious, go give some of it away. Oh, I'm having a bad day today. We know, we all do. It's okay too. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go give some of it away. I'm going to make a pie for somebody down the street. I'm going to just cook breakfast for my husband or my wife. I'm heavy today. There's a lot of energy on me. I'm going to give some of it away. I'm not that happy. I'm going to intentionally give some of it away. Are you following me? Okay, give it away. You'll end up having so much seed in the ground that the harvest will start to come back to you in the abundance, and you won't know where it's coming from. But that's because you're going to get in the routine of giving it away. When your network marketing business isn't growing the way that you want it to grow, give something away. When they tell you to hit silver for 5 weeks or 6 weeks, and the whole thought of it, I know, I understand. The whole thought of it makes your stomach turn. Like, I can't even begin this project because I'm so far away from this project and it's so far from my reality. I just rather freeze like in the inside and not even, it's just too much. It's too far away from the reality of where I am right now in life. I understand. Give some of it away. At least I know if I didn't hit it, I know that I asked someone who was trying, well, what can I do for you though? I'm far off. But are you good? Give some of it away. Whenever you feel heavy, serve. We see this in a leadership of Jesus. He never said it, but I would assume if you know exactly when they're going to crucify you and you have to do, okay, you got to do, knowing when the end of it is, he must have been heavy. But what he realized is staying consistent in my doing, even when I'm heavy, keeps me light. For 1 second, for anyone that deals with depression or deal with anxiety or deal with any of these issues, what happens is for 1 second, Jesus got a break from dealing with the reality that in 3 years or whenever, when he got closer to the crucifixion, that they were going to crucify you. They don't like you. Imagine knowing your brother is going to crucify you at the end. But I got to build a relationship with this man for 3 years. What is my point? For 1 second, when you serve, you get to take a pause on the reality of your situation. I see mothers do it better than anybody else. My mom did it. They could be having the worst day in the world. But when their babies come home and get off that bus, you would never know anything was the matter with them. And for a second, their reality freezes and they don't feel heavy anymore because the focus isn't on them, it's on their babies. Now, when the babies go to sleep, they go back to the reality of what's going on in their life. But when the babies wake up in the morning, they put on a poker face again. That's why you're a great mother. Most moms say you can challenge me on a whole lot of stuff. One thing you can't say is that I was not a great mother. The reason you were a great mother is that you kept putting on poker faces. You kept doing no matter how you felt. There was never a day that you would pick your heaviness over your babies. So now that's the physical world. Now what you do, the same way you did it for your kids, do it for God. That's all. It's just a shift. You have mastered it for your kids. What about mastering it for you? Some of you are still mastering it for your kids. They would never know nothing's wrong with you. They would never know your financial situation. They would never know all that you've done to make sure that they're fine. They would never know because you've mastered it for them. But now it's time for you to master it for you. And when we think about Jesus's life in the 3 years, when the miracles were happening and people were master, what does this mean? Or what does this mean? For a second, you get to take the focus off of your reality and go into someone else's reality. Because the crazy thing is, sometimes you don't know how to fix you, but you do know how to fix others. Ain't it crazy we got all the best advice for other people? It'd be good advice too. And then I'm thinking to myself now, but when I go home, let's see if I can figure this out for myself as well. We struggle to give advice to ourselves, but we're masters at giving advice to other people. You don't get to freeze your service to others because you're not having a good day. That's when you're a leader. And then what happens is whoever's called to lead you, when they're having a bad day, they're going to still show up for you. When they're having a bad day, they're going to still have a word for you. When they're having a bad day, they're going to God's still going to use them because God knows they don't shut their service off because of how they feel. Okay. And in network marketing, you take the same way, 9 o'clock. In network marketing, you take the same poker face that you've put for your kids. And now I need you to poker face for you. Okay. That doesn't mean you feel good. I remember the training from January 1st. I didn't say it was going to feel good. I said you'll feel good afterwards. Afterwards. Okay. My favorite scripture is, you may not know now. Okay. Not now. It don't make any sense. But don't try to make it make sense. You want to apply. Last thing I'll say, and I want you to write this down, and this is your assignment for today. Are you guys getting anything from what I'm talking about? Okay. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say is that I want all of you to intensify your manifestation and your belief for your income, but I need you to make that income have legs of what's going to happen afterwards. The income is not the end. Go into the future. You may need a new house, may need a new car. You may need whatever and whatever. Don't worry about you. Worry about them. And if you worry about them, he's going to worry about you. Are you getting me? I know, and I promise I'm finished. It's 9:01, 3 minutes. I want to make this point. I like to use Joseph as an example. If you go through the scripture, if you go through the Bible, you will see it several times. It's not said, but you see it, that if you worry about them, he'll worry about you. I'll give you an example. God used Joseph to be the provider for his family when trouble was about to come. So Joseph's purpose, he didn't. Okay, so listen, you don't always understand what God is doing. Okay, you don't always understand what is the point of Joseph getting pitched and kicked in the ditch by his brothers. Why? They didn't even like him. But God's strategy is he's always going to put you in a position of pain or whatever. He's going to put you in different positions, but it's never about you. It's about them. They got Joseph out the ditch. Okay. You may feel you're in a ditch. You might feel in a pit. I understand. Okay. So they come and get this man that his brothers pushed him in the ditch, and they take him to Egypt. Okay. And Joseph becomes the king, or one of the king's favorites, and he's in control of a whole bunch of stuff. That position was necessary for him to feed his family. So, but the harvest of the seed was so beautiful because he's living a royal life. Now he went from the pit to the palace. I've heard people preach that before. So sometimes when you're in a pit season or you're in a pit experience, you're taking it too personal. You're taking it too personal. When no one's biting for your business, when it just feels like the walls are caving in, I cannot even breathe right now. I understand. But as a leader, you're taking it too personal. It's not about you. It's about someone else. Now, when you accept that position in leadership, what happens is, and I'm finished, no matter how dark it is, no matter how much it feels like the walls are caving in, no matter what it feels like, you do. Commit to just doing. I'm having a horrible day, but I'm going to do to the best of my ability. Don't forget the law. Do it as if you're doing it unto the Lord. When you do, they respect you. After they respect you, they watch you. Okay. I got those backwards, actually. It's watch, they respect. After they respect you, they mimic you. And then when they mimic you, you start to have proteges, and they won't be exactly like you because they're going to get their own revelation. But in that is how you start to form a big, powerful group of people. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to write what the legs, that income goal that you have, where are we going after you hit that income? I want you to go over the mountain. Okay. Don't just stick at the top. Write out what your life is going to be like every day. I want you to do a 30-day journal, and I want you to write as if you're there. Now, what's going to be funny is I want you to even pay attention to how much money you're spending. And you're going to realize while you're writing in this journal, I want you to do this. I'm telling you, it's spiritual. Listen to me and trust me when I tell you something. I want you to get a journal. Most people have a notebook. And starting tonight, I want you to start journaling as if you are where you've been praying to go. Now, I want you to have a lifestyle in this journal. You get to make up. Well, we just got back from Maldives. I don't know what it is you want. What I want you to do is I want you to get so intense about the seriousness of this practice. Know how much money you spent for the day. What you know, now you get to accustom your life to how much money you're making. And you'll start to see that as you allow yourself to go into this world, you probably need to intensify the seed that you're asking for. I want you to change when somebody say to you, we're going to be a different group of people. And somebody say, well, how much money you want to make? What you're going to say back is, you mean how much seed do I want? They're not going to know what to respond to that. But do you mean how much seed do I want? That'll take the conversation up just a tad bit. You have to be real spiritual to keep up with that type of response, okay? So listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Who has their tickets for the conference? Get your tickets. Get your hotel. Who has their hotel for the conference? Okay. I see you guys waving your hand. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the training tonight. Let's make it happen. This is incredible. Practice what I'm teaching you. Show up on that social media. If you believe in the product that you're promoting, promote it. If you believe in the brand that you're promote it, and understand that if you keep doing, people are going to watch, you're going to get the respect, they're going to mimic you, and all of a sudden you're going to have one protege next to you and another one, and they may not do it exactly how you do it, but they would be able to say that you were 1000% the reason why they are where they are today. I'm grateful for you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you later.